The existence of bacteria has been a disturbance in the society. And for a long time, bacteria can be found anywhere. And these things worry me, because bacteria can be found in the food that you just ate, the water that you just drink, and even on your hands and mine right now. And the most common bacteria found in these kind of places is called E. coli bacteria. Even in sterilized areas, such as the hospitals, you can be infected by bacteria which enters through these kind of devices. The example of bacteria found in hospital devices is the Klebsiella pneumonia. There has been an increase in antibiotic resistance, and bacteria have developed a defense mechanism towards antibacteria. So, when scientists and pharmaceuticals are busy searching for the cures, there's a plant that grows on the side of the road and even in open fields that we don't care. And usually, children play around with it because it can close and open instantly by touching it. Not like iPods, yeah, but something like iPods. But people don't know the ability of this plant that can be antibacterial. I'm Natasha Kristie, and I'm here to present about putri malu as antibacterial agent. This is the star of my presentation, putri malu or Mimosa bucalini. The hairy roots and also the sensitive leaves are both components in the putri malu, which contains tannins and polyphenols. Putri malu plants can be found in tropical regions such as Indonesia. Moving on to the bacteria, I used the bacteria Klebsiella pneumonia, which is known as the cause of pneumonia, urinary tract infections, and meningitis. The second bacteria is Escherichia coli. Escherichia coli can be found in raw food, feces, and contaminated water. It thrives in warm, wet, and dark places. It causes food contamination, food poisoning, and diarrhea. So with all these diseases, you wouldn't want to be infected by bacteria because no one wants to be sick. Therefore, the purpose of this experiment is to know the effective concentration of the putri malu plant to inhibit the growth of the bacteria, and to know how the putri malu really works as an antibacterial. The hypothesis is the extract of putri malu will inhibit the growth of bacteria. With higher concentration of putri malu, a larger inhibition zone it will produce. And this is how I carry on the experiment, or how I did the experiment. First, I collected the roots and also the leaves of putri malu plant and blended them separately with a 1-to-1 ratio of mineral water. Then purified the sample by centrifugation and also pasteurization process. Meanwhile, I prepared the bacteria, which are the Klebsiella pneumonia and also Escherichia coli. Here, the bacteria are instead inserted into single cuvettes for optimum density testing to test the maturity of the bacteria. If the bacteria is mature enough, then I can go on to my next procedure in the experiment. Then I transferred the bacteria into a petri dish that has been filled by nutrient broth. KB here stands for Klebsiella pneumonia, and EC stands for Escherichia coli. And here, I spread the bacteria evenly with a spreader. For the samples, each petri dish has 5 cylinder cups, covering 5 major corners, and inside the cylinder cups, we inserted the extract or the control. Then we incubated it for 48 hours. What we observe from each petri dish or each sample is the inhibition zone, or where the bacteria is non-existent, where the bacteria spreads outside. As you can see here, there's a thin line to show a diameter, and the first diameter is, well, there is no diameter actually, and it shows that there is no inhibition zone created by the negative control, which is the aqua test. The second diameter, which is bigger, is the inhibition zone created by the ampicillin, which is also the positive control. The fifth diameter is the inhibition zone created by 50% of Putrimalu extract. There are three types of Putrimalu extract: 50%, 25%, and also 12.5% of concentration. This is the result graphed by a bar graph, and this result is to show the comparison and also the correlation of inhibition zone in the unit of millimeters towards the different bacteria, and also each bacteria had 3 trials, and these are the legend. As you can see here, the blue bar represents the ampicillin, the red bar represents 50% of Putrimalu extract, the green bar represents 25%, and also the orange bar represents 12.5%. But what you can't see here is the control, which is the yellow bar, but because the control does not give any inhibition zone, so it's not effective. This is the result average, and the average result shows the average inhibition length in the unit of millimeters with different concentration or different control media. The optimum concentration to inhibit the growth of the bacteria is 50% extract of Mimosa pudica Linn. So there it is. And how does it work? There are 2 types of antibacteria: bacteriostatic antibacterials and bactericidal antibacterials. Bacteriostatic antibacterials weakens the bacteria from the inside, disrupting the cell activities, and it takes not a very long time. It takes longer time than bactericidal antibacterials, while the bactericidal antibacterials kill the bacteria instantly. So we did a test, and we took 1 ooze from the inhibition zone, and we spread it onto another petri dish, which has been divided to 4 quadrants. 24 hours later, the pattern here shows the bacteria is still alive, but not as rapid in cell division as before. The contents of Mimosa pudica Linn that is beneficial as antibacterial agent, it was known later on as tannin, which affects the nutrient transport into the cell, and it retards growth of the cell. And also the second one is polyphenols. Polyphenols blockages the bacterial signaling. So each of these 2 components will be effective towards the cell system, and it ruins the cell inner system as well. Putrimalu inhibits the growth of bacteria, and with higher concentration of Putrimalu, the bigger inhibition zone it will produce. And it works bacteriostatically. In the future, practicality and ease of medication should be available for everyone, and everyone in the rural areas where the medication is very limited and expensive. So, in the form of hand sanitizers, it's very easy to use, and everyone can use it, even children to old people, and in the end, whether it's pneumonia or diarrhea, Putrimalu will eliminate the bacteria. That's all.